And we're live. Welcome everybody once again to Quest and Quill Facing the Frontier. This week's episode, Blood for Blood. Where we last left off, the party had escaped the city of, had finished with their combat and tried to escape, finding the best in the west completely deserted. They made their way out the back, only to be pursued and heard by a group of bluecoats. The bluecoats seeming to swarm on them from every direction. Forced John to make the quick decision to take the party to the sky, and he used flight to quickly evade the masses of bluecoats, taking the group into the swamps where they set up camp for the night. In the morning, they buried their companion, who'd only been with them for a very short time, giving him back to the swamp. And in the night, the voices of the swamp came to thank them for bringing what belonged to it back to the swamp. From there, in the morning, Havel went back to a bug-out house where there was some horses stashed for the party, as well as a bug-out bag with some supplies to help them make their escape. From there, they made to the outskirts of Delta, riding along the old sea road before encountering a bluecoat patrol. With some quick thinking and disguises, they were once again able to make it out of this, but they realized the road was a bit dangerous and decided to take it back into the swamp, finally rising to the foothills of the Wave Mountains. Following the railroad, they made their way to a hideout, a small shack on the hillside, and there they found a rather strange individual. And the strange individual made a very interesting request from John. He asked him for some magical blood. And I think I would like to start the session first by setting the scene quickly, and then I'll get back to you sit in a small shack. The smoke from the fire fills the air, as well as the smell of salted, smoked meat. The evening is approaching. The cold air drifts down from the mountains and starts to put a chill in all of your spines. The sky is the color of rust, and this individual has said that he requires fuel. What kind of fuel? Before saying magical blood. Looking at John, staring through him.
Blood? My blood? What for? To what end?
Well, you ain't seen that the sky been falling? He looks at you all very intensely, almost glancing around, paranoid.
John looks to the others.
I go I go to the excuse me. I go to the old guy. It's like, so what you gonna do with this magical blood? You don't seem like a caster or like the arcane practitioner.
I ain't got none of that magic, but I know a thing or two about the forest.
Someone's asking you for it?
It's a lot of questions, stranger.
Well, you know what? You know what, my friend? We run in the same circles, and I'm pretty sure Donnie has talked about me. So I'm not trying to be a busybody, but magical blood. We all know what you can do with magical blood. So you gotta understand from our point of view. We would like to know why you need it and what's the purpose for it.
Do you know about the snake folk in the desert?
Uh, Side note: do I really know anything about snake folk in the desert?
Rumors, like scary stories meant
E-
to intimidate children.
Oh, so well, what is it called? What kind of tales? Not wives' tale. Folk tales kind of
Yeah,
thing.
folk tales, fables, that sort of thing. You know that
Okay.
in the desert to the far southwest, on the other side of the Great River, in the wildlands, beyond the frontier, there is supposedly a great civilization of snake people. Um, it's also the opinion of the colonial authority, and this is what they would say is there's no great civilization of snake people. Beast folk can't make great civilizations. Haha, what a terrible thought.
Well, I tell the guy, it's like I know I only know snake folks from stories and whatnot when I was a little child, but I haven't been a child for quite some time now. So how about you tell me what you know about the snake folk?
Well, they
Before
say.
we continue, guys, sorry. Right next, right. Would Lula know these tales?
Yeah, no, definitely. Lula's heard them on the ranch. Probably
Continue.
in the same context and designed to scare you from running off so you don't get captured and eaten by snake people.
Fair enough. Continue. Sorry about that.
Aslan knows for a fact that there are snake people who control the desert, and he knows of the lizard people that control the jungles, and he knows of the many different disparate beast folk clans that control the inner continent.
Do we fight them?
There are long-standing rivalries. There's a reason that the beast folk haven't all banded together and pushed everyone out, because they fight each other just as much as they like to fight the settlers. And the rivalries are ancient in their scope. John would have heard stories.
Yeah.
Probably the sort of thing that Obadiah would have talked about.
All right. John would say, even if these snake people are real, well, you still haven't told us what you want our blood for.
So they say that the snake folk got tradition to keep the sky from falling down. They walk onto slither, I guess, up to their giant pyramids with flat tops.
Oh.
And they put the people down and rip out their beating hearts and take the blood and feed their sky god, preventing the sky from falling down for another year. Now, I ain't much for whimsy, but, science is science.
Yeah. I'm not giving you my blood. Are you crazy? Talking about murdering me.
I didn't say nothing about murder. We could just try a sample to start off with.
Sorry, stranger, but we just met you. John begins getting up, and he says, "We just met you. I don't even know your name, and I don't feel comfortable giving you my blood. I can't speak
Whoa,
for you, but what?
my name's Ajax. I'm just a normal sky. Just being logical and trying to prevent the sky from falling, okay?
Yeah, well, we're kind of trying to do the same thing too, but we prefer a more heroic route.
Yeah, can I roll insight to verify this guy?
Please roll your insight.
Wow, crappy. I take it word for word.
What did you
Sure.
roll?
I rolled a
Sure.
7.
Yeah. Even with a 7, he sounds a bit bizarre.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I feel like you don't even need to roll. This guy's just clearly crazy.
I'm just a man of science.
Yeah.
And
Then what do you
I
do?
know that with the magical books and the incantations, that there has to be a solution for everything.
Well, I agree with you there, but I don't think that's the one, friend.
You want to be heroic? Ain't nothing as heroic as self-sacrifice.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna sacrifice myself to a man I just met. Anyways, I think we can find somewhere else to camp.
Now, Ajax, you know the rule. You know what? We are to be given safe haven without any malicious intent. You know that.
He looks at you. He looks at you, and he kind of looks at you up and down. I think you mistaken me for someone else, stranger.
And I kind of put my hand on my. Oh, what do I have as a weapon again? I think I put my hand on my rapier. Yeah, I put my hand on the handle of my rapier, and it's like, well then, sir. And I start to slowly draw it out. And I believe we're in a bit of an impasse.
Wait,
And look,
John puts his hand out and he says, "Wait, there's no need for violence. Let us just leave here in peace and be on our way."
and I say, I look at John. It's like, John, this is the only safe haven I know around these parts. Everywhere else, I cannot guarantee your safety.
This isn't a safe haven. This is a camp in the woods, he says, looking around.
Where
Sure.
nobody knows where it is.
Yeah, but we can just keep moving up north. We still need to deliver the pups anyways, right?
Yeah. DM, what time is it right now? I think we say it was nighttime, right?
Forgot.
Yeah, it's evening time now.
And it's like, John, I don't know, but traveling at night is a horrible idea.
Well,
I say,
I can see in the dark pretty good.
There was.
as I look at Lula, it's like, Lula, can you see in the dark? Can you fight in the dark?
You know, we were able to see and find the dark. At least I was, but I kind of forgot to ask Saul to leave the lantern. At least the lantern allowed us to fight and see in the dark. So, long story short, yeah, it's
No.
black.
We have torches. What kind of adventurers are you guys? Goodness sake.
John, I see your point. I really do, but we should at least have one guaranteed nights of rest here at the last known spot that.
There is no guarantee. And then
Now listen, I'm not stupid. I ain't gonna try nothing.
all right. If you guys want to take the risk with our new friend here, Ajax, fine by me, but I'll be keeping an eye on him. That's to be certain. John sits back down and brings a hand up to readjust his glasses.
Thank you, John.
Of course.
A wise decision, Mr. Morello. And it's like, Ajax, I suggest you don't do anything funny. Oh,
Just don't ever say I don't listen to you guys.
the big cat here might make you into kitty litter.
He looks Aslan up and down again. I ain't never been much of a joker.
Okay, that's my department. Let me be the Joker.
Yeah. So don't worry yourself, Ajax. This whole Sky Fallen deal, we're working on it. Just in our own way.
His eyes light up and he goes, so you believe?
And more
You
than
seen it
believe.
yourself?
Well, I've seen the lights in the sky, if that's what you refer of.
Lights in the sky.
By the
Yeah,
looks
that gets
of
all
you,
excited.
it's like
It's
you've
the-
seen them up close.
Sorry, Mike. I think I'm lagging a little bit.
Yeah, you're a
Um.
little bit.
Uh-oh.
We just lost our
Come back
DM.
to-
Okay, I think I'm back. He
Yeah.
goes, seen him. I watched him fall in the desert. I watched him fall in the mountain. They all around here. They in the swamp. They in the ocean. There he is. And for a second, it looks like dude's having a panic attack. He starts to breathe really, really like heavily, and his eyes go like all big and bright. And he's like, and then he's almost like catches himself, and he's like, and he looks around you all. Y'all want some? You want some food? And he starts dishing out the stew again.
I pass. And it's like, nah, my friend. I think we're gonna be passing on this.
John points. He jerks a thumb towards the chickens and he says, "Mind if we roast one of your hens?"
I mean, if you got the coin.
What's the cost?
Well, I mean, in town will go for a cup of copper, but since we're out here, I'll take 5.
All right. Can we take 2?
Sure.
All right. He flicks him 2 silver instead of 1.
Okay.
He says, "Here you go.
He like
You change." He gives him a smile.
grabs the coin and he's like, thank you. Now, you can have this place if it makes you all comfortable. I'll stay in the shed.
Fine by me.
Man, the
Thank you.
dance.
So I guess we start setting up camp. We could spit roast the chickens, I suppose. I know John would ask one of the other ones to do the slaughtering and all that stuff, the preparing.
I can help.
All right.
I imagine Lulu would be pretty good at that.
Yep.
I'll leave you to it then. I kind of want to just lay down for a moment. Shut my eyes. And then
That's
John,
fine.
I guess he finds like a hide or a bedroll to lay down on, and he kind of just lays there, taking a moment for himself, but not actually sleeping.
Whilst John is doing that, Lula's gonna deal with the chickens. Try shut them up as quickly as possible because they make a lot of noise if you're trying to kill them, and all that jazz. And apologizes to John. Sorry, John. And just does the Judy. Starts humming a little song.
I'm gonna be in front of the pups, and I'm gonna like put my body in between the pups and Lula killing the chickens, so the kids don't have to see it. I'm gonna have my like shadow. I'm gonna do like a shadow puppet, like just distracting the kids, so the kids won't be traumatized. Lula.
On the other
That's
hand,
funny.
Aslan is standing a bit too close to Lula.
I just imagine Aslan over her shoulder going,
You mind giving me some space, big guy?
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I hope there's no chicken beast folk in this world.
Amen to that.
Chicken folk.
Poultry folk?
Poultry folk.
Yeah.
There are definitely bird-like individuals. You proceed to gut and skin the chickens, and that's all done in rapid time. They do squawk and struggle, but as you do, you notice that the more confident of the little hedgehog pups seems to take an interest, and then asks if Lula needs help with the plucking.
Can
If the
I
lady
understand
needs
it?
help with the plucking. No, you can't. It's
Can
in
I-
beast folk.
What are you doing, little guy? Get out of here! Shoot! Shoot!
Does the kids look like they're like traumatized with all the chicken heads and the blood and all that?
No, it's almost as if they grew up in a a hunter-gatherer based society that commonly has to gather food, and the children also have chores.
Okay. I go to Lula. It's like, oh, that one wants to help you pluck.
Sorry. Okay, little guy. I don't know how to speak common. Sure. Here you go. And you make sure you grab every little feather, cause yeah, that's real annoying. So double check. When you double checked, triple check. Got it?
I reiterate what Lula said to the pup.
So it was like looking up at Lula, then like looks up at you, and like looks up at Lula, like, and then deftly, with very trained small little fingers, starts like
Look at you
plucking the
go,
thing.
Spiky boy.
Right. And the other two, I'll keep entertaining until it's like supper time.
Ajax will, with his hand still raised, take a knife off of his belt, leave it inside the thing with you guys, and then, excuse me, I'm gonna get out of here, and makes his way to the shed, where you see him start to light a fire and seem to settle for the evening.
What did he leave with us? A knife?
Yeah, he took a knife off his belt to be non-threatening, left it like on his seat.
In the shed.
So say,
No, he left it inside the little shack with you guys.
Oh, okay.
Respect.
as he goes to leave, John perks up from like laying down, and he props himself on like his shoulder against on his elbow against the ground, and he says, and he leans forward and whispers to them, "What a weirdo! Goodness heavens, my blood, snake people. He's not all there, man."
I mean,
Well,
you know, Pa always said there's always a bit of truth in fiction. There's always a bit of fiction, and there's always a bit of
Truth
you
in
know what I'm trying to
fiction.
say. There you
Truth
go.
in fiction.
Yeah. So it could be kind of true, maybe not, but still.
Maybe I think maybe he got close to one of those lights, and perhaps that's why he's like that.
well,
I don't know, but remember the guy on the train? It seemed like the lights turned him crazy.
I don't know about the sky
Y- y-
falling,
y-
but snake people.
They are.
Oh,
Yeah, I never fought one myself, but I think my father did.
Really? Well, what about all the other stuff that he said about them sacrificing people to some kind of god, some kind of dark god? Is that
As
true as well?
Cousin shrugs a little bit, and well, all people have their gods. Most most people like me worship lion god. Turtles worship turtle gods. There's so many. and I think some of them like to sacrifice. I don't know that, and
That's barbaric. Ugh. Well, we did also mention that you do this stuff on top of a pyramid. Maybe something similar to what we found in the tunnels back in the Wave Mountain. Makes me wonder. Though they also, I guess, they're not really the type of people you can just walk up and ask questions. They'd soon read us or sacrifice us. Oh, I'll just have to keep that in mind, I guess. He goes in, he pulls out his little black booklet, and he begins writing into it with a fancy pen.
By the way, John, I think Mr. Ajax there is I think he's got the right idea, but the wrong direction in putting it. I think he's really obsessed with these snake people, and then with the combination with the things we fought in the mountain and in the swamp, I think he's combining the two, trying to make his own little story. When in actuality, those space things just fell down, and he was like, "Snakes." That's what I think.
Yeah, I'm not saying that there isn't something to what he's saying, but the part that concerns me is him wanting my blood specifically. Why does it have to
Oh
be
yeah,
just because
oh yeah, that's fine.
it's special? But
Mr. Morello, maybe he's asking us to acquire someone else's magical blood. You ever consider that, do you think that everything revolves around you?
look, he specifically said that he wanted blood because the snake people sacrifice magical blood to a dark god. Does that really sound like a reasonable request to you?
Well, maybe he wants a drop, a small sample, not you. He ain't going to squeeze you like a sponge over a rock and wring you like a towel and twist all the blood out of you. So
Yeah. Well, how about
that's
you?
gonna-
You can do
I
that, right? You're Mr. Magic Man. Why don't you give your blood to him?
well, you're a better practitioner of the arcane arts than I am, Mr. Morello. You're far more powerful. You demonstrated
You're
that
good at the
before.
convenient excuses, huh?
Well, I'm the man of many words. You're the man of action. Remember, Mr. Morello?
Yeah. And then this day, my action is to not give that man my blood. He's not all well, in my opinion.
Well, then perhaps maybe we should give someone else's blood.
I'm not in the blood business.
All right.
We're the good guys, remember?
okay, you can take my.
No, Aslan.
Ascent, can you practice magic?
I can talk to animals.
Havel, why are you so intent on getting this guy blood? Like, do you really think that's a good idea?
Well, I'm just saying that maybe there's some truth to this. Ascent confirmed there's a snake people. Lula confirms that. I mean, the only thing that
Yeah, but you heard his reasoning as to why he wants the blood. It doesn't make sense.
That's the problem.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I'm,
I
I'm
don't think we should do it.
I know. I'm not saying that it's absurd. I'm not questioning the absurdity. I'm just curious. That's all.
Well, if you're so curious, then I think you should take the risk and give him your blood and see what happens. Let us know. And then John gives him a smug smirk.
Oh, I just like I advise Aslan not to eat me. I have high cholesterol. You know, it might anger the gods. They might put it into magical centrifuges and they say, oh no, there's blood, too much cholesterol, no good.
What have the gods been doing for us other than burning people at the pyre?
That is true. Maybe that's why we're not getting anything, because we're not giving up the magical blood.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Well, suit
John
yourself.
coming in with the dunk on the church, hardcore. Oh, slam. Sorry, that was really good. That was really good. I wish Soul was there to hear that.
Well, anyways, so what's the plan, guys? We deliver the pups first, I imagine.
Yes, I believe that the little one should reunite with its clan or its prey. Is it prey? Pride?
I think
I
pride.
mean, what they call their tribe. But
Yes.
I guess I have an idea of how we could do this. Perhaps we could. I could contact Chief Spike and ask him to send his people to Tenton, and we can do the handoff there.
DM, do I know like Tenton to be beast folk friendly, or everybody's like paranoid of the beast folk?
Tenton, it's very new. You wouldn't know. It's not like an established settlement. It doesn't have a.
Oh, okay, gotcha. It's like
It's a boom
alright,
town.
gotcha. And it's like,
But John would know because he's been there. Right?
You remember that when you were in Tenton, there were beast folk amongst the workers.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I assumed it was like
the whole west side of the camp was like a beast folk part of the camp as well.
Heard.
Yeah.
So John would say that we can have them meet us in Tenton, and we'll return to their people there.
And then what about after that?
Well, then we'll have to see. I think by then it'll probably be time for me to contact Saul, perhaps, and see what he's up to, whether he's gonna rejoin us or not. Also, to make sure he's doing okay. But
Saul's doing fine.
I also wanted to go and check in on the ranch, see if Grendel made it there all right. Figure he should be there by now, or if not now, then soon. You know, Grendel and his family, his wife and kids.
Oh yeah, we did send him there. It's been a while. Sorry.
Yeah, it's been a long week, buddy.
Yeah.
You're right.
I agree with everything you said, but I'd like to add on to that. Maybe we have a look. Maybe we have a look in the desert for where the sky fell down, because it sounds like more trouble.
Well, by what he said, it sounds like it's happening all over, right? Not just the desert, but the mountains. He even said the ocean. And I'm not about to go take a ship to go find it. But if we do see anything strange on our way towards Tenton, we can most certainly investigate. I feel confident that we can destroy another one of those creatures or airships or whatever it was.
Fine by me.
Good, then we're in agreement. So, unless you guys have anything else you're looking to do, perhaps we should dim the lights and get some rest. I'll be on first watch.
Thanks, John. Yo, Eddie. Sorry, yo, Havel. My bad.
who does Eddie? Sounds like a handsome gentleman.
Sorry, I just thought of a very handsome man. Well, now all of a sudden, just now. Havel, could you please lend me a blue shirt? As you can see, I am drenched in crimson.
Oh, I go through my disguise kit. I had them the closest thing to a blue shirt that I got.
Thanks.
And that gold bag, I'm going to incorporate it into my disguise kit.
Why did he leave the stream? Come on, Lutanda, show us. Woo, take it off.
I'm looking like the Michelin Man. No thanks.
Yeah, at least put up a tip jar. If you don't put up a tip jar, how can we tip you?
If you want my tip, you gotta get OnlyFans.
You gotta subscribe to his OnlyFans. So, would you guys like to sleep and proceed to travel?
Yep.
And then I can describe the travel as you go along.
In the middle of the night, John would want to. He would cast Sending and let Chief Spike know that they've recovered the pups and that they're on their way to Tenton, and that they should be there in a few days or so.
Chief Spike hearing this goes, "All right, you discovered the pups? Well, good on you, mate. We can meet you in Tenton. There's some search parties to the east of there, and some in the mountains."
And then he casts it again, and he says, "All right, Chief Spike. We'll keep an eye out for them. If not, we'll see them in Tenton. Good luck."
All right. All right. Good luck to you. Godspeed. Best of travels. Safari and Gemma.
And then beyond that, John will take a short rest and he will cast Intellect Fortress on the rest of the party. Throughout the
Okay then. Good to know. The night seems to pass without incident. I just rolled a natural 20. And you guys wake to the cold dawn. It's late spring already. Nearly it's I mean, like well into spring already, nearly summer. And yet here on the edge of the mountain, the frost still bites the edge of the grass, and you wake up with dew and cold wind. As you wake, you can eat your morning meals, and unless anybody would like to do anything, I will proceed with today's travels.
I think that's it for
Going
John.
once. Going
No,
twice.
I'm good.
What you guys do notice is your host is gone. The shed is empty. And it seems that he disappeared into the night without anybody being able to notice.
What about the chickens?
Chickens are there.
Yeah.
They seem to have been let out in the morning. So he did let them out before he made his escape, and you guys did somehow still not notice it.
Is there like a cage we could put them in? Can we take these chickens?
You want to steal man's chickens? You could spend some time making a little basket out of some stuff in the shack, or you could put them in a sack or something. You could definitely
Nah.
find a Hessian sack or something like that.
That's okay. I think it's more trouble than it's probably worth.
Actually, John, you got a bag of holding, right?
Yeah, but
grab every egg we got that's there and just take it with us.
Oh yeah, yeah. John will collect whatever eggs are laid in the morning.
Okay. You can roll me a d8.
Okay.
Well,
I guess I'll leave Ajax one for breakfast.
Wait. Wait. John,
You're gonna steal all of man's chickens, but now you want to leave him an egg for breakfast. Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah,
You didn't trust this guy. You thought he was a whack job too.
That's funny. That makes me laugh.
All right,
Comedy,
what up,
good
man?
comedy.
That's 8. So did he find 8 eggs?
Damn.
Yeah, nice.
All right, nice. So he leaves them. He leaves them 1, and he takes 7.
Okay.
I don't.
With the sun.
I guess he would put them in a sack and put them in a leather sack and then put them in the bag of holding.
Okay. With that, the sun rises over the hill, over the wave mountains, and though they still cast long shadows in the early morning, the sky turns to blue, and some warmth finally finds your bones. As you leave the wooded foothills. You make your way higher up the mountain where the trees turn from deciduous to pine. The cool air seems to never stop, but as you go, the landscape seems to ease up somewhat. You make your way first west to the coast. I'm assuming you're going to travel on the road, like you're going to go
West or east?
on the
the
west
east.
along the main road towards the sea, right? I mean east, sorry, to along the main road towards the sea. That's what you said, right?
Yes.
Sure, yeah.
Yep.
If it makes sense for us to go that way, trying to make our way to Tenton.
Yeah. Well, that's the road over the bridge.
Yeah,
we
no, that's
spoke
bad.
about.
As long as it makes sense, let's go.
Okay. You make your way through these pines, and what you do notice is that from the swampy, wet, mucky ground, there's some elevation that is grassy and green, but that quickly fades, and the trees become more scattered with small shrubs and thorny bushes. The terrain becomes rocky and rugged. The ground becomes uneven, and you guys find yourself walking over small creeks and rocky streams in the mountain. The weather through the day, though it does warm up with the midday sun, is cool and crisp, and a biting wind seems to constantly come down from the mountains. By the time of late afternoon, you guys find yourself on the edge of the coastal steppe, and as you look down, you see where the hills break. You see the great chasm that cuts along the desert, and what you see before you is the white sands of what you know to be this coastal desert. As you approach the nightfall, the sun starts to set. You must make a decision where you want to camp, in the foothills of the mountains, in the desert, or do you want to try and push through into the night?
I tell the group, it's like, well, folks, if you're in a huge rush to make it to Tenton, we can't push through the night. Just to let you know, I'm not good in fighting in the dark. However, I could set up that magical barrier that we had last time. I assure you that no one will be able to see outside, and no one will be able to see inside, and we don't have to worry about the weather changes. I'll leave it up to you guys how you want to proceed. I'm just presenting you the options that we have.
That sounds like a good idea. Maybe we should find a defensible spot to do it. Maybe like around some rocks or something on top of a hill.
Yeah, I agree. Aslan, Lula, what do you think?
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess we would continue traveling until we found a place like that or close to it or similar in some way.
Yes, anything
Okay.
that's like John said, defensible, but I
Yeah.
think primarily elevated. So
Yeah,
we have a
elevated and covered.
So keeping that in mind, you guys decide to travel on the edge of the foothills, up and down these rocky, scrubby things. Eventually, as you guys are approaching closer and closer towards this great cutting chasm that you know lines the middle of the desert, you do find a rocky outcrop on the top of the hill. In fact, as you approach closer, you notice that not only is it a rocky outcrop, but it seems that this is actually the ruins of a small stone foundation of a house. And this little hilltop may have perhaps been, it could have been maybe just a farmhouse, but it looks like it might have been a watchtower or some sort of blockhouse or something like that. But its roof has long since collapsed in, and or any wooden elements have long been eaten away by the termites and sands of time.
Savior above, seems we're in luck. Boys and girl, we have even ground to sleep on.
Let's go.
Nearly a bloody miracle.
I Does it look? Does the structure still look stable, or is it like?
Oh yeah, it's a good place to set up a camp.
All right. So I, just for the sake of safety, I'm going to still cast Lehman Tiny Hut just in case.
Okay.
And I tell everybody like, you three could go walk in and out as you please. Just remember, like, this particular spot, and I given the dimensions. And it's like, you walk in and out as you please. I can't. I have to stay within.
All right,
Once
let's
I walk
know if you
up
need the bucket.
the bucket,
Yeah.
yeah, sure. Only if you clean that, you can leave me the bucket.
No, I'm not touching that thing.
Why not?
I don't
We're a
have to.
team, buddy.
That we are. Although sometimes it doesn't seem like it does it.
Mm. Point of views. Point of views. Point of views.
All right then.
Yeah. So I'm casting Lehman's, and once it's up, it's up. I'll let everybody know, and then we'll move on through on the night.
Okay then.
So,
Liam's
with
tiny
dinner-
hat goes up. Sorry, do you want to say that again? I think I interrupted you.
Yeah, John asks, so what's for dinner?
Dinner. Yes. Great you asked there, John.
I
While
actually, my Golbeck has a couple of rations, right? Yeah. So it's like, I pull out, I said, we got these rations here. Other than that,
Well,
you got those eggs.
about Aslan. Maybe we should save those for a time that we don't have the luxury or the time to do some gathering. Aslan, do you think you could find some food for us?
Aslan, I had already pulled out some rations and munching on. Oh, I could. Yes.
Only if you
I
want
can
to.
help you, big guy.
Ah,
Only if you want to, Aslan.
I don't mind. You'll munch down the rest of the rations.
With Lula in tow.
Okay.
Lula,
Lula, are you proficient in survival?
Sorry, what?
Lula, are you proficient in survival?
Of course. Hang on a second. Wait. Shit. No.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're not.
No.
Then Aslan, you can give me a survival roll. What are you proficient in that you can contribute to the hunt?
I am proficient in
shooting thing.
shooting things. So perception.
Perception. You can give me a perception roll to keep an eye out for game, I guess.
Got it. I got an 8. I guess nighttime has really fucking spooked me off.
Yeah, if it's dark out,
Um,
you're supposed to roll at disadvantage, right? For perception rolls.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah. Make it disadvantage. You're absolutely right. Thanks for reminding me.
Oh, come on. I got a 5.
Let's see if you get worse
Even
than
lower. So, Diego, what's your survival?
22.
22. It's okay. Aslan's carrying the team on those big broad shoulders.
yeah. Meow.
Aslan, I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't see a thing.
It's
As I
okay.
walks back,
I
we're
do.
like, as I walks back with like 2 games, it's like, yeah, thanks for the help, Lula.
So, in the mountains, there are many small game animals, but one of the things that you do know are mountain hogs, and you're able to track them back to a small den without very much help from Lula. But standing outside the small den, you're able to, throw a rock down and get an angry pig's response for quickly ending it. And you can successfully hunt a whole boar, which is a decent amount of meat for 4 people.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Boom, shakalaka.
I I told everybody, folks, tomorrow for breakfast we got eggs and bacon. A hearty breakfast.
Then
Indeed.
I give the
for
hog
you,
for Lula to cook.
is it an issue for us to make a fire within the tiny hut? It's not, right? Because the smoke will just like
No, yeah. We could let
just can exit. They just can't enter.
exactly,
Okay.
and no matter what, the environment stays whatever we deem comfortable.
And a question for you: does the hut it just look like a bubble, or does it look something different?
No, it's a bubble. It's supposed to be so when you look in, it's supposed to blend. It's kind of like the Terminator. Not the Terminator. It's Predator. You'll kind of see a silhouette if you really look closely, but the outer shell is supposed to blend in with the surroundings. That's why it's great if one caster could do it for the party.
Right.
Okay. Well, Aslan hunted. Lula's cooking dinner.
Yep.
Man's on the tiny hut. I don't know exactly what John's doing besides giving orders, as John does best. Would anybody like to do anything before we pass the night?
No, I think that's it.
Actually, I would like to speak to John one-on-one.
Okay.
Let's see. Now, Miss Morello,
Huh?
I do have the most minimum amount of respect for you, but I do have some respect for you. I'm just curious, why are you the way you are?
What way is that?
Bossy, sometimes downright rude. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, you do care for your team, for your group, and I respect that. And you helped me out in the pickle. I do admit that, but
Yeah, that's a light way to say I saved your life.
yeah, and that's why I'm here. That's why I let you probe my mind. If, like I said, it would if the situation was different, the pointy part of my spear would be in a soft gelatinous part of your eyeball. Yeah, if not your eyeball, well, a different set of balls on the southern part of your body. Now,
Right.
I'm just trying to figure you out. So maybe somewhere down the line, you and I could get along a little bit better instead of trying to piss in each other's tin cup. So, tell me your story. Tell me why you are the way you are.
Well, first off, you say I'm rude and bossy. Well, I can say the same about you. I feel like the feeling might be mutual there. As to why I am the way I am, why am I rude and bossy? I don't know. I guess life has pushed me in that direction. Up until now, life was good for me. I had it well. I was never rich or fancy or anything like that, but I had food on the table. I have a mother who loves me. You know, my life was secure in a lot of ways, but it was also without purpose. And then all of a sudden, I received a calling from a higher power, and he bestowed upon me this power that I'm still discovering, which has been growing steadily. But he gave it to me for a purpose. You know, you already know what that purpose is, to stop this living nightmare that's trying to take over the colony. Hell, even perhaps over the world. And that's why I behave the way I do. It's not because I want to be like this, it's because I must, because no one else is doing it. And even if I must fight tooth and nail to make it happen, to make sure that we're all safe and that we all have a future. Will speak as I must.
Is your mom still alive?
Yeah, she's well. I still check on her every now and then.
You should do that.
My powers.
Mm. You're a very lucky one. You still have your mother.
Yeah,
And I understand
just
you
no
might
father.
have.
Had
You and I has at least one thing in common. We never knew our fathers.
your mother? What happened to her?
He hesitates. You start to see his eyes starting to water, and you
He slowly
notice.
brings the hand up and he puts it on his shoulder and he says, "Look, don't worry. If you don't want to share, I won't check for myself."
I told him it's like the scars. They're fresh. They're fresh in my mind, in my heart, and in my soul.
It happened recently.
No, it happened a long time ago. But just like you, I cared for my mama. And when she passed, it was an empty loss. Like a part of me was gone that I never could get back. A wound that never heals. And no matter what I do, I don't think I'm going to ever be whole again. And that part of me stays closed, stays hidden, and stays deep within me for nobody, no prying eyes to see.
Sounds like she is gone before her time. Did someone hurt her?
Yes. As you start to see his eyes starting to do the Batman scowling look, like, yes. One of these days, I'll make them pay, Mr. Morello. I'll make all of them pay. And they will. I might not be much of a fighter, but I know people's minds, and I will make them pay. I will make them hurt. They will feel the pain that I felt. No one's going to ever stop me to do that. Whether it's the people that we have to fight or even you. No one will be in my way.
I wouldn't dare. But let me just ask you, not speaking of the Church of Peller, are you? Because if that's the case, you'll find a friend in Saul.
I look at him and it's like, Mr. Morello, do I look like a choir boy?
I never said that. You don't need to be part of the church to not like the church. Even I've seen the things they've done. If they ever
Yes.
touch my mom, I definitely feel the same way you do now.
I shake my head. It's like, no. The people that hurt my mom, they're not Church of Paler. And it's like, then I kind of like switch the subject, and you know that he's trying to avoid the subject. It's like, Mr. Morella, the only church I do is, my God, it's just going, my coin pack, and I jiggle my coin back. The church I like to go to is oh my God, I had a good name on it too. Is the local brothel house in any city or village or town, big city. That's my church.
The Church of Tits and Wine.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, and that's my life right now. And my goals in life, other than what I just said before, is to be an entertainer. I've known and witnessed sadness, and I like to spread my laughter. But as I grew older, I knew that life is many things, not just sadness and laughter, but drama, love, and many other things that we living beings experience. And I like that to bring that to the world.
Speaking of which, what do you think of that? Like what happened in the Best of the West? Even in our travels, I had never seen anything like that. I've seen people turn into monsters already, but nothing like that. Their body parts coming together.
I look at John directly. I was like, I don't know, Mr. Morello. Maybe you bossed around the wrong person, and they're coming after you. And I wink at him.
I'm sorry, his boss. What?
No, I say, well, Mr. Morello, you might be bossing around the wrong person. And I wink at you. That's a joke, Mr. Morello.
Get it?
Anyway, I said I don't know. I really don't know. I never seen it myself, and I've seen some weird shit in my life, but nothing to that extent.
Yeah. Just like I said, what we're going through, it's nothing glorious. I don't know how you can make a song out of that.
The stories to tell, just like the snake folk and other stuff, and that stuff. That's a story on its own, and it's those stories to keep the kids in line. Now I'll make a story about that. I'll give a parent another round in the chamber to tell their kids to stay in line.
You an entertainer or a horrifier?
I'm everything.
Right then. Good to know. He brings up a hand, adjusting his glasses. He says, if you like, feel free to close your eyes. I'll keep an eye out on things.
It's like, suit yourself. And I go towards the pups. I don't get like too close, but I put my sleeping bag around near them just to show that, hey kids, I'm just here to make sure that you kids are all right. You're muted, Nick.
Sorry, I was muting myself because I was typing and I know it can be loud.
Yeah, and then I set my bag, the bedroll next to the kids, and I retire for the night.
They snuggle up alongside you, preparing to be warm. Anybody else?
Aslan has been sleeping since he finished the hog.
Whoa, whoa. Hang on a second. You guys got to eat your supper first, then you guys can go to sleep.
Lula's
Yeah.
been working hard making a hog.
Yeah.
That's all you hear.
How big? I slave over a pot. It's not even easy to more thing. It's just a tougher pig. I don't get. Oh, so ungrateful. So ungrateful.
I'll eat some of them. Yeah, John would definitely come over and slice himself off a generous portion.
I wish you for the show.
Does she
Okay.
season it? Does she have any seasoning?
She
Yeah.
did buy the little bag of seasoning in Tenton.
Excuse me. Yes, I put seasoning and everything. Do it. I'll eat the pork.
So John tries it. He eats it. Is it any
I mean,
good?
Lula, is it any good?
It's all right.
Is it any good?
Doesn't matter what you think or say. My feelings already hurt.
I think it would taste pretty good. Hard to mess up boar. And it's nice and spicy.
Yeah.
Probably tastes like barbecue.
Yeah, John would eat it voraciously. He would say, "You do great with this, Leah. Very good. Thank you."
Sure.
He would mutter his appreciations in between chewings, or mumble.
Yeah,
Fades
Lula
to
acts
black.
all like out to sleep, but yeah, sure. Anyway, continue.
The night fades to black. The cool mountain breeze turns to a biting gale that howls on you in the night. But you're inside the Liam and Tiny hut, so you can't feel anything. It's nice and warm and comfortable. But outside, you can hear the wind howling, and you assume it's cold.
So throughout the night, John would keep Intellect Fortress on Aslan and Lula. He actually can't target
Okay.
3 people. He can only target 2 at this level.
Okay. All right. Havel, in
Yes.
the night, as you sleep and darkness descends on your mind, we're going to cut to a quick 5-minute break.
Hey,
So if you need to get a cup of coffee, get yourself a refreshment, and then come back to the stream in 5 minutes, and we'll rejoin you once again for Quest and Quill, Facing the Frontier.
hey.
And we're back. We last left off. The party faded into the night. John casting Intellect Fortress on his two companions. However, he can't target the third. And Havel in the night, as he dreams in the darkness, starts to hear what sounds like the breaking of waves, churning on a sandy beach. This easy sea breeze. And then with a shock, a wave washes over him. And you wake, Havel. It's the early hours of the morning. It's 5, 6 a.m. But everything seemed to happen rather quickly, and you wake with a bit of a shock.
Can I say that when he wakes up, you would see John standing over Aslan and Lula's prone bodies, and he's like muttering something in a weird unknown tongue.
Of course.
Is it the same tongues? Is it a tongue that I've ever heard before?
No.
If you've heard John cast spells.
Yeah. Honestly, it sounds like a weird alien language.
But is it something that I've heard before in my past or in my youth?
I would say
Okay.
no.
Yeah, it seems to be unique to John.
Okay, and I'll go to
At least in
John.
your experience.
I go to John and I put a hand on one of his shoulders, like Mr. Morello.
He would flinch and look over his shoulder and immediately stop chanting. And he seemed to snap him out of some sort of trance. And he says, "What? Havel, what is it?"
I think it's time I do my part, and I'll make breakfast this time. Let Miss Lula take a couple extra minutes for shut eye, and I'm going to need the eggs from you.
I was hoping to save them for later, but I mean, we still have plenty of boar. You really want that eggs and bacon? Huh? I get it.
I said, you know what? Just give me 3.
Okay, I can live with that. Pulls out a little leather bag. He opens it up, pulls out 3 eggs, and says, "Here."
And you see me start juggling, practicing on my juggling. I was like, I'll make sure these 3 are good for the, was it 7 of? Well, no, 5.5 of us.
I can do without. Don't worry about me.
No. The one, as he stops and when he tosses up the last one, he twirls around and catches it in his hand. And he's like, now, Mr. Morello, we're supposed to be a team. We all share. And he starts breakfast. You'll get your fair share of the scrambled eggs.
Yeah, but have you ever heard of taking one for the team? This is it.
No, sir. The only time we take one from the team is like when you see the ugly chick and you lost the road and you had to take the ugly chick. That's taking for the team. Everything else needs to be shared. Nick is like, what the fuck is going on here?
What have you devolved my stream into? It was just supposed to be a game about playing Fantasy Wild West.
Okay. Anyway, Miss Morello, you'll get your fair share. It's okay.
If you insist.
I'll start prepping the bacon and the eggs and everything.
Feeling generous. Can you juggle 4?
Huh?
Can you juggle 4?
You want me to juggle 4? I'll juggle 4.
Please. Wish I could juggle.
Let me do my performance check.
No, wait, I can. And then he opens up the bag and the 3 eggs like float out, just like float in the air. He's like, "Look at me."
It's like, Mr. Morello, using magic is the easy part.
Nah, you're
Doing
right.
it with your hands.
Yours is better. And then they float back down into the bag, and he tucks it into his coat.
Yeah, so I started cooking breakfast and everything. I was like, oh, Mr. Morella, I forgot the past couple of days. It was such a hurry. During the little scuffle within the Best in the West, I was able to liberate our enemy's coin purse. Since they're dead, they won't be able to use it. I have some earnings that need to be distributed amongst the group.
John glances over his shoulder, seeing Aslan and Lula. I guess like slowly waking up, and then he looks to him and he says, "Well, if you want to keep it, I mean, it's fine by me, unless it's a large amount. If anything, I think you need it the most. No offense."
Well, you know what? Like I said, we're supposed to be team. Everything is split. It's split equally. Whether you choose to take it or not, that's entirely up to you. I just like to present options.
So how much was it?
16. I think it was like 16 silver.
16 silver? Yeah, John would say, "Yeah, you can keep my share. It's okay. Get yourself something nice."
All right. So
everyone gets 4, and Havel gets 8, or he keeps 8.
yeah.
What? Oh. Thanks.
Yep.
Oh.
He puts the coin silver in his mouth. That's what I just saw.
Unless anybody would like to do anything else, should we proceed with the day's travels?
Yes.
Yep.
You guys make your way from your small hilltop encampment down the rugged slopes, finally truly making your way off of the foothills of the Wave Mountains into what is known as the White Strip, or it's also known as the Coastal Desert. Here, you know that the only rain that comes in are the harsh winter rainstorms that during the early spring cause a huge torrent of water to rush down from the mountains, carving this gulch that you now sit beside. But as you begin walking down it, making your way down the foothills, you notice that there is but a small trickle of a stream at the moment. That's all that's left of this little stream. But it's at the bottom of a canyon that is at least 100. It sometimes ranges to up to 150 feet deep and nearly at a sheer cliff. It is riversides down, as if turrets of water over generations have washed this huge scar into the landscape. But you know that if you make your way down it, you will eventually get to the crossing of the gulch, the construction site that the party was meant to visit before. So you do.
We still have our horses, don't we?
Yeah, you're on horseback.
Right.
I forgot to mention anything about tying them up. You're right, but yes, you are on horseback. I've accounted that in for your travel time.
Do we have 3 horses?
Yeah.
There's 2, right?
As far as I remember, Lula and John are doubling up, and Havel's with the kids, or something like that.
I have one.
So it's 3 horses. Is it 3 horses or 2?
3 horses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that
you guys are on horseback? Sorry.
I imagine we're running low on waters. So is there a safe way down to the stream?
As you leave the hillsides, yes, there is. Before you actually get into the desert proper, there is a series of waterfalls and small running like small swirling pools, and you guys can make your way down a semi-steep cliff slope. You have to get off the horses and like lead them down by hand, but you're able to make your way to these small pools where you can water the horses, and if you want to care for them properly, actually, wipe them off and do the whole bit.
Yeah, if it's not too late in the day, I think at least John
No, I
would
think
like.
you'd be leaving the mountainside by mid morning. So this would be happening around 10 a.m. and you'd still have plenty of time in the day.
Yeah, we would do that. We would water the horses, wet them, wipe them down, and prepare them for the hottest part of the day.
Yeah. So it's the cool mountain breeze is still flowing off of the hills, but what you do notice is that it's starting to be met by what seems to be the baking sun that's rising, hitting the desert sands, and the white reflective desert sand seems to almost radiate the heat into the air. So you feel this cool breeze behind you, but it almost seems to hit a wall of hot air as you make your way off of the hillsides. These pools that you stop at are beautiful little swirling pools of carved away sandstone, of years and years of water droplets individually carving away beautiful small shallow pools. They're enough for you guys to be able to even bathe in if you'd like to wash off some of the blood and mud and stains from the road.
Yeah,
and
John.
it's definitely the sort of spot that, like, if you were doing this as a tourist, you'd stop and take some photos because it's rather lovely. The waterfall drips off, leaving mist in the air, and this mist like helps cool your bodies and your horses. It's a very lovely place for sure.
Yeah, John bathes himself, and towards the end, as he's like finishing up and drying himself off, like you can see him. It's like shaping his hair up. As like wet,
And as you guys are bathing and shaping your hair with a passive perception of the 13, Lula notices it's 14, right?
Yeah, 14.
14, yeah. Okay, I thought it had gone up, but on my thing it says 13. That's why I was saying 14.
Okay.
Sorry, I don't know why I didn't change it on my card.
No worries.
With a passive perception of 14, notices, and Aslan is 13 as well. Aslan would have noticed as well. There's someone watching you guys from above the waterfall. 2 figures. 3 figures. Squat but humanoid. Definitely keeping an eye on you. Where are the pups?
Well, since I'm carrying one, I guess one would be with me.
Okay.
One would be with me.
If Aslan's like drinking, I told I'll watch Aslan and the pup I'm watching as well.
Yeah, I don't think Aslan will be bathing. Makes sense for have the pups.
Okay, then I'll be bathing. And when Lula wants to bathe.
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, it's like we all take turns making sure that all 3 pups are being watched by somebody.
Okay, yeah. Aslan, you notice these figures as well on the hillside.
So I think, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I imagine we're all just like kind of like doing our own thing, and the pups are just loose, And if they start going too far, we'll probably call them back. But beyond that, we're not like standing right over them or anything like that necessarily.
Yeah, I would imagine someone's just sort of keeping a vague eye. That's why I asked.
Yeah.
How high is the waterfall?
So it's more like a series of waterfalls and rapids sort of thing, But from where you notice the figure standing above you is maybe 70 feet away, but on a ridge line. So it's 70 feet that way, but it's also maybe 20, 30 feet up the ridge line. They have elevation on you. They're looking down on you from the ridge line.
Aslan will wave at them.
Yeah.
The
You
others, you
waving
notice
to?
Aslan waving.
I look up and I see the figures.
Is it?
You look up, you don't see anything.
What are you looking at? What are you waving to, Aslan?
I'm like, yeah. What are you looking at, big guy?
There's people over there.
Where? I don't see anybody.
John will look and make up an active perception check.
No.
Yep.
Hold on. Aslan's right. I see them
Oops.
too. Hey.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna follow John.
John gets a 14.
14, you can see them. You notice that there's 3 or 4 of these figures standing on the ridgeline, crouched by the trees and shrubs.
Can I get a more accurate description of?
Aslan, you can see short, squat humanoids. They seem to have pointy, rodent-like faces and pointy, spine-covered backs.
Looks like beast folk.
As you're waving out,
Friendly
you
beast
hear a
folk?
shout back in beast folk common. You! Who are you? Why do you have those children? Actually, sorry, it would be babies, technically, is the word that they would use. Why do you have those babies?
Uh,
What are they saying?
he'll reply, "We're taking care of them."
I once I hear them speak, I hear the beast folk, the beast common folk. I yell out. And it's like we're trying to return these pups back to their rightful tribe, clan, group, pride, and I start just uttering all these all these words.
The correct term is apparently a prickle of hedgehogs, and if that isn't the cutest thing I ever heard, then I don't know what is.
Prickle?
A
Wow.
prickle of hedgehogs,
Prickle.
That is
right? Isn't that great? Your fun
John
fact
would,
of the day with Quest and
Black
Quill.
glance between Aslan and Hadwell, speaking beast folk, looking confused as hell.
I think.
Another shot from the ridge.
Go
Sorry.
ahead.
Arms down! Put down your weapons!
And I motioned the pups to be in front of Aslan, between me and Aslan, but in front, so they in full view. But in the same token, I'm keeping an eye out and keeping an alert if anybody's making an aggressive action so I could at least defend them.
Okay.
I mean,
And of course, I'm doing this as usual.
say arms up
Mhm.
or arms down.
I'm just
Arms up, weapons
showing my
down.
arms, doing this.
What are we doing? We surrendering? What's going on?
It's like I think we found the pups. Prickle.
They're what?
Prickle.
Prickle.
Mr.
Prickle?
Morello, it's called a vocabulary. It's a prickle of hedgehogs.
A prickle.
These hedgehogs they're prickles. They call it prickles.
It's adorable.
Yes, it is.
But fine. John puts his hands up.
Weapons down!
He wants the weapons now. So I take my rapier. I just toss it on the floor, like
Lulu
literally
crying?
at my feet.
Hey, don't throw it down. We don't know who these people are.
It's like, don't worry about it, Mr. Morello.
I am worried about
If something tells me if the poo-poo hits the fan, we'll be ready. And trust
Is
me.
Lula crying?
Think
Just to
so.
confirm. You guys hear Lula crying and sobbing. Crying with cuteness. Okay, that's reasonable. Right. We'll approach slowly. You hear the voice echo from the hill. Is there any response?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
Waiting.
Right. We'll approach slowly. Comes the shot from over the hill.
Then I say, you can come on down. We mean no harm.
You notice two of the figures on the top of the hill disappear. But quicker than they could have moved down, a figure steps out of some scrubs, maybe 20 feet in front of you guys. Another one seems to approach from behind. And as you
John
look,
says, shit, as he pops out of nowhere.
it suddenly seems that there's a group of them, and you guys are somewhat surrounded.
What are they?
The first one, they are indeed hedgehog folk.
Oh.
And in fact, they seem to be wearing the same regalia, the same colored feathers and leather wraparounds as Chief Spike's clan.
It's you guys. He says it out loud, and then also to the hedgehog person closest to him, you would also speak to him telepathically, and he would be understood.
He the hedgehog's like, look, and then they look at the group, and the one that had the telepathic thoughts in his mind like raises his spear, and he like looks around a bit worried for a second.
I say beast common folk, and it's like
We're friendly.
I tell that particular hedgehog, it's like, you have to excuse my friend. He has no manners.
You wouldn't have known that he spoke in his mind, would you?
No,
John-
because
No.
if everybody's calm
Yeah.
and all of a sudden this one is like jittering.
Yeah,
It's like-
like John kind of spoke to him, and then he became agitated. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
then if
okay,
he,
that's fair. Yeah. Right.
it's like,
no, my bad.
I would have at least a rough idea, and it's like, that's probably my friend talking to you, saying that we here to return these little pups to your prickle, but now there's a whole lot of you. You're more like a prackle.
So the one who emerged out of the bushes before you slowly approaches, getting lower to the ground, almost on hands and knees, and then places his dagger in his hand to the ground, right next to his right knee, before putting his hands to his knees and lowering his form to the hedgehog pups and saying to them low, quietly in beast folk common, "You all right? I hadn't done nothing to you. You know what happened? You okay?" And the pups almost immediately like burst into tears and screams and excitement and run up to like hug this hedgehog that's now kneeled in front of them, and they all give like big hugs, and you hear one of them crying, "Uncle, uncle." And it seems to be a heartfelt moment of reunification. And with that, the hedgehog looks up to you guys. "Yeah, thank you." In common.
Think he?
"Yeah, thank you. We're pretty grateful. We appreciate it."
Of course, little ones.
Anytime.
Welcome.
Just glad they're safe and in your hands again, where they belong.
Just know that our clan is always in debt to you. So if you ever need anything, you can just come find us.
We'll remember that. Thank you.
No, thank you. Is there anything you need? You hear the beast folk, the hedgehog man behind you that John had frightened shout up, "We're safe! We're safe! We're all good!" In beast folk common to the ones on the ridge. And suddenly, it seems that the ones who disappeared, more until it's about a group of 7, emerges out in front of you, all greeting and hugging the children in time, and all coming to you to first place their hands to their chest, and then taking your hand, placing their hand on top of it, and thanking you, putting their foreheads to your hands in a show of gratitude.
John is definitely like reveling in their appreciation. He's like really brightly smiling and dipping to his head every time he gets greeted, like going like this to them, you know. Yes, my pleasure. Anytime. He definitely feels like a rock star right now. And it's quite clear to any observers.
Havo shakes his head. It's like, and I thought I'm supposed to be the ham of this group.
They are a little bit cautious when approaching Aslan, but seeing how comfortable the hedgehog pups are around the Leonin somewhat puts them at ease, and while they do so more cautiously and definitely more respectfully, they do in fact thank the Leonin in the same way, with big, deep bows and an air of reverence and perhaps surprise in their gratitude towards what would have been a long-standing enemy towards their clan.
You're welcome.
See that, Aslan?
So,
You'll make chieftain.
is anything you need? Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you guys.
What was that, Aslan?
I think that ship sailed.
Hey, as long as you still draw breath, there's always a chance for a better tomorrow, buddy.
Now, Mr. Aslan, I'd like to tell you, yes, you might say the ship has sailed, but all boats come back to port. Never dismiss that. The only time if it's never coming back to port is when you're sleeping forever, 6 feet under. Always remember that.
So, is there anything you guys need? Can we help you lot out?
John looks to the others to see if they have anything to say.
I'm sorry.
Good.
You like my sassy voice, huh?
No, I'm going to
It's
say
really
at the end of the
getting you,
stream.
isn't it?
I'm going to say at the end of the stream.
Right.
Anything we need. I think we're good. In all honesty, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Well,
hedgehog people are best trackers in this. Maybe they can help us track.
that's a good idea.
Yeah, but track what?
Yeah.
Not after anything right now, at this very moment. But I guess he looks to them, to the hedgehogs, and he asks, do you guys know of any more weird sightings? You know, lights in the sky, monsters with tentacles, mind controlling powers. You guys notice any activity like that?
What about the girl?
What about the what?
The girl.
That bitch from the other night.
Lily?
That one.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think she's part of. I don't think she's really on the side of those creatures. I might have gotten a different impression. I don't know.
True.
But
You're talking about lights falling from the sky, eh?
yeah,
What do you want, mate? I mean, been a couple comments lately, haven't there? Oh, He thinks about it and he goes, just between you and me, been an awful lot of activity in the night sky, innit?
Yeah, there has been all sorts of activity.
I wish we could tell you more, but he shrugs, gives you a sort of, what am I supposed to say face, you know?
Well,
You get the feeling that he feels like if he actually says any more, you're just gonna think he's an idiot, kind of thing. You know, you're gonna like,
mhm.
you're the one who asked. Is the vibe that you're getting when you would in his reply, basically.
So John smiles and he says, "Don't worry about it. If there ever comes a time where we need a favor from you, I'll speak with Chief Spike. But for now, I only wish you luck. Get those little ones safe, please."
Yeah, well, good speed to you. You know, I'm safe here. And I'll shake your hand one more time. Give you guys all deep bows. The
John
one that you've been
Stay here,
speaking
keep
to will also turn to you and offer you some what look like dried out snakes, the longest jerky bars you ever seen. But they're smoked, and they could last for a couple of days.
extra long Slim Jim
Yeah, exactly what it is. Yeah,
with
extra
bone.
long, meaty flavored Slim Jim,
Yeah, with bones.
a
we
bit of extra bone crunch.
we take him and I tell him in brief, common baseball. It's like we humbly accept your generosity. Thank you so much.
They thank you and
Thanks
they
for
make their way.
me.
You guys are left at the pools as the party makes their way, waving their goodbyes. The little kids, you know, sitting on the pouches in the back of their things, holding onto the spikes of the adults, waving their goodbyes at you. The more confident one even screams out, "Thank you! Thank you, adventurers!"
And as they depart, John breathes deep and sighs out. He says, "Man, it actually does make it worth it, huh? Everything we've gone through to bring those pups home. It's good seeing the result of our good works. It gives me strength, I'll admit."
See, see, Miss Morello, this is what I was talking about. This is a part of those stories of life that is worth telling. Through trials and tribulation, through hardship and pain. All the hard work that you three have done so far and the sacrifices that you've done are able to bring back 3 pups, and you had nothing to gain from it except for this. This is what you feel. What you're feeling right now is probably the best reward you can get, and I have to admit, it is even more rewarding than a handful of gold pieces. And these are the stories I'm looking for to retell. And this is why I want unfeathered access to your likenesses. As he pulls out a contract saying, sign here.
Yeah. For use of your likeness in perpetuity across the universe forever.
In all types of media, as I don a new hat with 2 big ears on each side. My official initials is MM.
Just raises a hand and then he puts it on top of the hand holding the contract and he just like pushes it downwards. It's like, I don't think we're there yet.
He rolls takes off the ears and puts it away and rolls up the contract. And he says, "See yourself, Mr. Morello." But he says in full earnest, "It's like I said, these are the stories I want to witness."
Yeah.
And he puts a hand on his shoulder just to acknowledge him and pats him in the back.
Yeah.
It says, I'll concede as soon as I feel that you won't be misrepresenting.
I don't know. I don't know if that's me, but John, you cut out.
John
Yeah,
said,
those,
I feel comfortable signing those rights over as soon as I'm confident that you won't misrepresent me in your works. He says, as he brings up his hair.
I assure you, Mr. Morello, that all three of you will be represented truthfully and honestly. Of course, I will have to make some liberties just to fit the narrative correctly, but I'll be sure to include your extremely tall green hair and your very, very round spectacles. Mr. Aslan's, majestic mane, and Lula, and with her big stick and wackadoo doo. Hairdo.
Yeah. Yeah.
that was just the Metalocalypse intro. Pickles the drummer, doodly 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 doo.
Well, then, I'll let you know when I'm sure.
Okay.
As you guys are having this conversation, your horse's feet, hooves, finally start to sink into the soft white sand of the desert, and the wind whips at their ankles, feeling sharp and painful. You ride along the edge of the gulch, nearing where you should be crossing, nearing what should be a camp to the last of your understandings. And as you do, the midday sun beats down harshly on the entire party, leaving you rather thirsty and drained, feeling your parched skin and your parched lips. The sorry, the wind carrying the sand with it sometimes lowers your visibility, and it seems almost as if the edge of the horizon comes closer and further away. But you're on a pretty easy to follow big landmark with the gulch, and eventually you find your way to what seems to be a railway bridge. And there's a rail line coming to it, but south from the bridge seems to be nothing. The rail line continues for maybe 40, 50 feet before just trailing into nothingness, trailing into a flat, stomped out path, seeming perfect for future construction, but now covered with sand. The railway polders and thick iron now are fading under the thick waves of sand that seem to blow with every gust of wind. And where you thought there should be a camp before, instead there is eerie silence. As you approach closer to the gulch, you notice that it's 70 feet below towards where this little stream trickles through the thick sand. And alongside the railway bridge that is pretty easy to notice, there's also the small rope bridge of the gulch that you guys know to be the main bridge that folks take when coming this way. And as you look from the railway bridge, from the gulch bridge, you notice the path that carts and caravans would have to take up and down during the dry season to pass this way. It's mid-afternoon, and it's eerily quiet. The only sound you can hear is the wind swirling around you and the occasional shh of sand striking at your hair and earbuds.
Where are they? Where's the crew? Mr. Hill.
Do I know these people? No, right?
John looks appalled, and he kind of like stares at the lack of a camp, with like his mouth slightly open, like looking around in disbelief. They're supposed to be here. What's going on?
Are there any tracks?
If there were tracks, they would have been long covered by the shifting sands.
It looks like the work never finished, right? You were saying?
Yeah, it seems as if the work had finished. It seems as if they'd finished the bridge, and the bridge seems to be well constructed with its support beams and pillars going into the thing. But beyond the bridge, on the south side, it seems as if they'd built flattened out the land and built the foundation for the rail line. Started laying the rails, and then just never put wood down and never put any gravel on top of it to keep the sand, and
Heard that.
seems to disappear into the dunes.
Maybe they ran out of material.
Or
On the
maybe
far side, you do notice what should be some sort of flat ground, which maybe could have been at some point a campsite, but same thing. Any signs of civilization seems to long be engulfed by the small sand dunes.
is there any indication like left any like equipment or like sleeping tents or something that was like left behind in the campsite or possible campsites? Or
Shifting
like
through the sands, give me an investigation check.
Raj.
By the way, to do this, you guys have to travel across the rail bridge or the rope bridge or up and down to get to the other side.
I'm doing the rail bridge because that's probably safer
Rail
at
bridge?
this point. Yep.
Okay. Everybody else agree to go with Havel?
Investigation, correct?
As he starts making his way
Yep.
there, he would point over to the rope bridge and be like, "Isn't that the way to walk across?"
It's like that sways in the wind. I highly doubt any trains are going to be coming over the rail line yet since it's not completed. So what's the harm?
Is the rope bridge big enough for like a cart to be
No.
ridden over it? Oh, okay.
It's a walking bridge.
Does it have wooded slats or is it just like that rope bridge with like Indiana Jones?
You guys know that long ass rope bridge in Kung Fu Panda? Into the myth? Yeah.
Yeah. No,
It's-
I don't. I
It's
don't
4
trust that.
pieces of rope and a whole bunch of wooden planks.
All right. So I'm going across. Investigation.
Fine.
Got a 14.
14?
Yep.
Through the shifting sands, it's very hard to tell. But from what you can see, most of the things that are left here seem to be broken tool handles or chipped axe heads, shattered hammers, old bent tent spikes. It seems that it wasn't abandoned in a hurry. Everything that's left here is sort of, if you leave all the stuff behind that you wouldn't want to carry back because it's of no value.
I go to everybody. It's like, well, we could honestly say that they haven't been attacked. They ain't dead. They completed the work. There's no leftover material. It's just broken equipment. Knowing from my past experience or stories I've heard, maybe they were done and they ran out of money to finish this rail line, and they called everybody back. But I don't see any sign of struggle here, Mr. Morello.
Lula's going to comprehend what Abel just said, and she's going to approach the man and say, "You're right, but I want to dig." So she goes to a random sand dune and she digs herself, and she rolls a 14, same as Abel. And she finds like the similar things to Hovel, and she goes back to the
Yep.
group and she says, "Well, I may not be an what is it called? An archaeologist, but what I can see is that they stopped."
Yeah, well, I think I can maybe find out for us. Give me a sec. He turns away from the group and he takes a deep breath. And then he outstretches one hand, reaching towards the ether, and he begins speaking in his weird alien tongue, weird alien language, and he casts Sending, targeting Suzanne Hill's husband, Mr. Hill, the Goliath. And all of a sudden, Mr. Hill would hear a echoing voice within his mind saying, "Mr. Hill, this is John Morello. We are at the campsite at the bridge. Where are you? Are you safe?"
A second later, you hear a Mr. Morello. Yeah. I mean, I'm safe. We're busy working in the tunnel. I think I have 11 words left.
He doesn't answer you.
Yeah, I took a bit of leave, went home for a bit, and now I'm finishing up construction on the dig site. And at this point, me.
Please deposit another $1 to continue this
And
call.
he's deposited another spell slot to continue speaking.
So John seems tense like throughout the casting, and as he releases the spell, you can see his shoulders drop, and he seems to relax again, exhaling and almost like panting slightly, as if he was holding his breath throughout it. And he looks over his shoulders to the group and he says, "They're okay. They went back to the tunnel within the mountain, and they're starting to try and dig through it again now that the pyramid is gone, the monument." Which makes sense. But yeah, let's just keep going. Let's make it our way to Tenton.
Hell yeah.
You guys continue your travel by
Hold up though.
night. Mhm.
I imagine we can't. Can we walk the horses across the rail bridge?
Yeah.
Oh, we can. All right, cool. That's what we do then.
So it's I understand your question. It's a bit sketchy. But if you've ever walked horses, they're actually very, very like sure-footed and cautious, so they wouldn't have an issue walking along the polders. Plus, most of the rail bridge seems to be covered with So how it's layered basically is there's the steel and iron poles at the bottom. Then there's the wooden rail sleepers on top, and then on top of that they have a whole bunch of gravel, and then they have the iron beams, and then they have sleepers on top, and then they have the thing on top of that. So it's like it's well built, you know.
Okay.
So the horses, it's sure-footed enough that the horses wouldn't have an issue.
Heard that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we make our way across and continue heading towards Tenton on horseback.
You travel into the late afternoon. What you do notice is that in the shifting sand dunes, there isn't any particular place that you might make a camp. So you can set up camp and cast another bubble in a random sand dune and camp the night and continue the whole thing again. And as you wake in the morning, what you do notice is that across the desert, there seems to be a thin layer of desert dew that covers the sand. And while the day before was scorching hot, as you wake in the morning and leave the bubble, you're cold, chilled to the bone. And what you do taste is almost salt on the air. And as you look around you, you notice that the desert sand seems to be even whiter than normal. And those of everybody, except for John, actually, because you have a passive perception of 11, but 12 is the thing. You guys notice small bones in the sand. It seemed to help the whiteness as you walk along. As you walk along, they seem to become more clear and more apparent. And if anybody wants to examine them, I'll explain further.
Yeah, I'll examine. Another investigation.
Yeah, please. Lula, sorry, what were you saying?
Lula is going to get John's attention and relay that information by adding her own twist, saying, I think we got them scorpions around. Careful.
Scorpions. Huh. John sits up a little bit higher on his horse's saddle.
My investigation is a dirty 20.
Beautiful. You hear them talking behind you about scorpions again. But as you look into the sands, what you notice is these are fish and marine creatures. You notice fish bones, small fish rib cages, and underneath the shifting bits of sand, the rock beneath seems to be white, dried coral, as if you walk along the remains of some ancient seabed.
I relay this to everybody and say, good news and bad news, folks. Good news is that these are not human bones, but they're fish bones.
Oh,
That,
it's pretty weird, ain't it?
that's the bad news. I have no clue. I have no clue why the fish bones are here and not in the sea.
Maybe a fish merchant lost his cargo out here in the desert. As he looks around the dunes.
I look, and how far are we from the shoreline?
The ocean is sort of the horizon.
Yeah, so it's a good like 10, 15 miles at minimum, right?
No, it's more like 3 miles.
3 miles. I was like, well, you know what? I mean, if we're by the water, I can understand, but we're X amount of miles in, and for to have this many bones,
I don't know if we're that far. I can almost taste the salt in the air. I think we're
Yeah.
close to the ocean.
well,
As you guys like walk onto the tops of sand dunes, like crossing the rails, because the rail line does somewhat dip up and down, you guys can actually see the ocean as your elevation increases a little bit.
it's like, well, I guess we are closer to the ocean than we expected.
Lula's going to get John's attention again, and she's going to say, can scorpions swim?
John looks to Aslan. Aslan, you probably know, right? Can those giant scorpions swim?
Aslan, this might be the first time you've ever seen the ocean. I don't know. You tell me.
Probably. Aslan shrugs. I mean, he is proficient in nature.
You would know that things that look like scorpions that come from the water are crawdad and crayfish. It's the same things that you guys ate in the snapping turtle folk village. You know that's what scorpions look like from the water. They're lobsters.
Don't think so.
Oh. Okay.
Guess there's your answer, Lula.
All right. Okay.
March on.
Yeah.
By the time that the scorching midday sun has left you far behind, and you see the pinks and oranges of evening light arriving on the horizon. The other thing you notice on the horizon is the sprawling camp settlement of Tenton. A familiar and comforting sight at this point. You have left the purely shifting sand dunes, but you're still in the desert. It's just a different type of desert. Now the earth is cracked and raw. It's still salty, but you've left the sea plain behind you, and now you start to rise off into the actual frontier. Once again, you're surrounded by thorn trees and small shrubs, all sharp and spiny. And once again, you find yourself in the familiar, semi-arid landscape that surrounds Tenton and that surrounds the eastern part of the coastal frontier. It's just a few more hours, maybe an hour, and you'll be in town.
We're almost there, people. I think.
Thunder rumbles on the horizon, a storm seeming to crawl in from the ocean as you guys make your way into the streets of Tenton. What you notice from when you'd been here before is the streets are significantly less crowded, and it seems that most of the disgruntled workers have moved on. You're not sure exactly to where. But what you do notice is that the tented encampment is far less populated than it had been last time you were here. The other thing you notice is the much lower level of discontent. You do hear crying from one of the corners as the town crier and as the town crier and the paperboy with a familiar voice starts to shout out of what's been going on in the latest colony chronicle. He shouts, "Thank you, computer, for taking forever to load. Colonial Marine, save Herod! The General Lord Humphrey Marquis de Mirren raised forces defending the inner frontier. Strange plague in Tenton, sheriff found killed. The spire hold ring lost, resupply efforts difficult, read all about it, page 14.
Hey, kid.
Walk through the
I'll take Chronicle.
Well, yes, sir. It'll be 3 coins. And he hands you the latest paper, which I will now put in the world building one.
Yes.
How much was it?
3 coins.
2 silver.
2 silver.
3 silver.
3 silver. God damn.
Yeah, for a paper. I guess print was expensive.
Wasn't it that much last time? If I'm wrong, I'll give you the coins back. But
I always figured like it's going to be like a copper, like a few copper, maybe like 5 copper at most.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you weren't here last time they bought a paper, so you can't even know. And I know you haven't rewatched that episode, so don't even play like you have. So I'll go and rewatch the episode, and I'll tell you how much it was. Sorry, I forgot. I don't have that part of my notes up.
John pays for it.
He takes your coin. He takes your coin, and he'll give you the paper.
And he says, let's see what's happening real quick.
I say, Mr. Morella, see if they mention anything about the best of the West.
Yeah, we'll see. Let's make our way to the Silken Splendor real quick. I could use with some refreshment after that trip.
Agreed.
Maybe some company.
You
make
agree
your way
even
down
more.
into the Silken Splendor and find the familiar bustling barscape. Havel entering it for the first time. What you see before you seems to be a low wooden building that has several different cloth roofs of all different colors hanging over it. What you notice when you step inside past the small wooden sliding doors is that you step down, and then you keep stepping down, and then you seem to take a right and take a ring of stairs that lead you downwards, opening up. And what you notice looking over the railing as you go down the stairs is that it leads you into a small pit, maybe 20 feet underground. And in the middle of the pit, you notice along the walkway and along the railing is a series of doors. In the center of the pit are a series of tables, as well as carpets and pillows for various groups of people to sit down. You notice that while it's not as packed as it was last time you were here, the bar is still flowing and packed, and the half-elf twins behind the bar seem to be rushing to and fro, bringing drinks and food to patrons of the inn and the tavern. As you guys move to make your way to sit down, Lula notices someone familiar she wasn't expecting to see, and it strikes her heart with a bit of worry. What is Oda doing in the bar?
Oda, 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 what are you doing here?
Oda.
The rest of the party make their way down into the middle of the pit. Would you like to describe to us what Oda looks like, Lula?
Oh yeah. Oh sure. Yeah. Let me just dig in my mind real quickly. Ignore the clicking.
I'm glad I'm not the only person who has to look through notes. It's been a while since we were in Tenton, everybody.
Yeah. Woo! Okay, Oda. Yeah, I'm just
30
digging through my mind. I don't write down any notes. Shit.
I mean, guys, we're officially at 30 episodes. It's been a while since the first 3 episodes. It's not your fault, Lutundo. I had to look through my notes too.
Yeah. I imagined him with red hair, but it says here it doesn't say that at all. Fuck it, don't care. Oda is
One of them had red hair. You did
one of
write
them
one
had
in the description with red hair. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah,
continue.
so it's gonna be Oda. Don't care. Oda is Oda is my brother. He's my big brother. You know, I'm just a little bit younger than him, second in line. You know, let's say that. He's my big bro. You know, these guys got messy hair, a little bit messy hair, red hair as well. You know, and it's just awesome big bro. And last I saw him,
Okay, I'll describe his physical appearance then. Oda stands about a head taller than Lula. He is simultaneously lean and paunchy at the same time, as if he has, a bit of a misplaced double chin, a bit of a round face, but still while being sort of tall and a bit gangly. He's not fat, but he's a bit round in the cheeks, and his round cheeks are red and freckled. His hair also red and messy, seeming to be a bright red mop scrubbed across his head. He stands about a head taller than Lula, and seems to greet her in the most familiar way possible, running up to her and going, "Oi, Lula! I've been looking everywhere for you."
Lula just fucking.
Sorry, that's the wrong accent. Give me a second. But yeah, you
Sure.
give him a big hug, and he squeezes you tight, giving you a big hug.
Yeah, just oh, it's so good to see you. Oh, wait, and pulls away from the hug and will hold him at like slightly arm's length and says, "What do you mean you were looking for me? What happened?"
Lula, I don't know to tell you how it happened, but there's been something at the ranch. We need y'all help. Where's Saul?
Again? Saul is. Lula fumbles through her bag and fumbles for the letter and hands it to Oda to show like Saul's fine. Saul's fine. What do you mean something's happened at the ranch? What happened? Is everyone okay? What happened? Is it that orb again? Oda, tell me!
And I think that's the best way I could end the session, hey, which is by not answering that. So, if everybody has enjoyed, please don't hesitate to give us a follow. We're only 15 followers away from being Twitch affiliated, which would be really cool.
Hell yeah.
If you've enjoyed the episode, you can catch it when it goes live on YouTube, hopefully over Saturday, if I manage to get the upload up on time. Otherwise, thank you so much to everybody for joining us this week. I hope you had as much fun as we did. We will catch you again next week. Quest and Quill, facing the frontier. Until then, best luck on all your future quests, and may all your rolls be natural 20. Have a great week, everybody. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
joining us.